Hello everyone, a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you. This is your host Vaibhav. In today's session of JForex Indicators Explained, we are going to continue with the Rainbow series indicators used for trading. We are going to look into the rainbow oscillator, which is another interpretation of the rainbow charts, which we considered in the last session. So we are going to see how we can look at this indicator in a way that we can interpret the data. We can look at the price moves in the underlying instrument, and with the help of this indicator figure out the instances, the higher probability instances where we can expect the turnaround, the reversal in the existing trend. And also at the same time we can also use this indicator to look for the expectations of the trend continuation. So we are going to now go to the JForex 4, the newly released trading platform from the Dukascopy Bank SA. This is the Euro USD chart with each candle period defined at hourly. I will add this rainbow oscillator from here. Now we have rainbow oscillator in place. First, I will explain to you how to read these values and how to interpret them. We saw the rainbow charts in the last session. So that indicator is simply based on the two candle period moving average, the simple moving average of the last two candles, and then the recursive moving average is taken out for successive 9 times from each prior moving average. So for figuring out the R1, we simply take the moving average of the first moving average. So this way we go all the way towards R9. So we get 9 moving averages from least smooth to the highest smooth. And when the trend is strong, we have the width which is quite large in between these least smooth and the most smooth moving average, and that width is utilized here to plot these bands. So when we have the strong momentum in underlying instrument, these rainbow oscillators lower band and the upper band will widen, and we will have this width on the higher side. And looking at the rainbow oscillators output value, we can figure out if the current strong trend is likely to persist or if the signs are emerging in the market of a possible reversal. In a nutshell, we use the strength of the momentum, and we try to combine that with this overbought and oversold situation. So using these two interpretations of the yesterday's indicator, the rainbow charts, we can figure out these opportunities. For rainbow oscillators output value, the two levels are critical: 80 on the higher side and 80 on the higher side and negative 80 on the lower side. We, sorry, 20 on the lower side and 80 on the higher side. So here we had the RB oscillators value at 46, but if we look at these prior moves, here the RB oscillators value was minus 74. So I think we will have to look at this data in more details, because For this platform, the plotting seems to be slightly different. So instead of taking the bounded range of 0 to 100, the platform has seems to made some modification, and we have the negative possibility also. That makes it easier for us to interpret the trend, whether it is bullish or bearish. We can simply gauge it by looking at the RB oscillators value. And for figuring out the overbought and oversold, we can put the extreme levels of 80 on the higher side and minus 80 on the lower side. So when these extreme levels are reached, we can expect the existing trend to get unstable, and as we see the signs of a reversal, if the price starts to fluctuate and shows the signs of reversal in the current trend, we can then go for the initiation of the new trade with the expectations of a total reversal. So if that does materialize, we will have a good long trade. We will be able to capitalize on large moves, as the trend change is going to get us the optimum entry points, and with those entry points we can try to maximize our profit while keeping the stop losses sharp. So that is going to get us the advantage of figuring out these trend changes early and exploiting the situation to our advantage. So we will have to combine these RB oscillators output value and the width of the RB lower band and upper band. So if we have a large width in a relative term for the RB lower band and upper band, and then the RB oscillators output is reaching the extreme levels, I think that is the time when we should start looking for the opportunities to go for a contra trend trade. So we can then profit from these extreme levels reached. We will have to wait it out for the RB oscillator's value, output value, to also reach the extreme levels. So that is going to be then helpful for us in figuring out these opportunities. So let me give you some examples on the chart. In this case, the width was good, but the RB oscillator doesn't really reach 80 on the higher side. In this instance, the RB oscillator's output was at minus 62. Let me figure out some examples where we had the extreme levels reached for these oscillator. Here also it is at 76, minus 73, minus 73 again, 65, minus 71, 78, pretty close, not 80 though. So from this you can see that the extreme levels are not going to be reached frequently. Only once in a while you will see these kind of extreme levels reached. Now here again we saw the RB oscillator reaching the desired level close to 80, but not exactly 80. So for representative purpose, let us consider for all practical purposes that this output was below minus 80, and that would have signaled to us that there is a possibility emerging of the possible reversal on these levels, and then we can start looking at the price action and jump in at the signs of a possible reversal. So after this extreme value is reached and the width is quite high, and then we see fresh buying momentum on the lower side, we could have gone for the initiation of the long trade, and we would have profited profited in this trade, and we would have been able to revise our stop loss. above the entry price. So even if the eventual turn happens for the opposite side, we would have been on the safer side. So this kind of trades can be taken. Even in this instance, we saw this RB oscillator output reaching this extreme level. At the same time, the width is quite high. That means the existing trend, which was high, is now reaching the levels which are going to make it unstable, and we can expect a possible reversal. So if after these levels are reached, we start looking for these signs of reversal in the price action, we would have been able to go for the short sell trade. And in this trade also, we would have profited quite substantially. And if you were patient enough to wait it out, this was the beginning of this new trend, and eventually the price has gone on to decline and decline quite substantially. So this kind of opportunities are going to come our way if we are using these rainbow oscillator indicator with the data points to help us navigate these volatile waters of the forex market. So if you want to navigate smoothly with this help of the rainbow oscillator to make your account also shine like a rainbow, you can utilize it to look for the optimum trade entry and exit points. So I have tried to explain to you this indicator in a simple manner. So if you have any query regarding this indicator, do write to me in the feedback, and I will be trying to give you the explanation if you have not really got its underlying logic. Now let us look at the customization options available on the platform. We can go for different types of applied prices. So depending on the applied prices, you will have slight deviation in the plotting of the instrument. Rainbow chart period, we can vary, we can increase or decrease, not decrease but increase this calculation period, and we will have a lot more smoothing if we go for a higher calculation period, but the responsiveness of the indicator is going to be much less and it will lag. So to avoid that, I think I will be preferring to keep it at the default value of 2. The rainbow charts moving average type can also be varied, so we are provided all these options, and depending on the kind of moving average you use, you will have slight deviation here too. The recursive smoothing period can also be varied, but here also, as per its developer, it's better to use a lower calculation period. So I would also suggest the same of leaving it at 2, but you can try out a different combination also, and you will see a substantial change, substantial difference in the plotting. Same thing coming to this moving average, we can go for different types of moving averages here also. The rainbow oscillator candle period can also be varied, you can increase or decrease, and accordingly the calculation data will be considered. The color combination can also be varied. If you are not really a fan of the blue color, you can try out different shades of color as well. Styling combination, width and transparency is also variable. Levels, we have these minus 30 and plus 30 defined as critical levels, but as I said, we can also utilize the levels of minus 80 and plus 80 for the potential reversal signals. Advanced editing option, recalculate on new candle only. So if you opt in, your output will get fixed at the levels of the price which was there at the start of the new candle. highlight the time period zone since this indicator only considers 2 as its main calculation period. You don't really have to worry much, but still you can go for highlighting time period zone. Customization can also be done in terms of the instrument, candle period, and side, and depending on that, you will have this plotting vary considerably. If we use say 10 minutes as the candle period for the purpose of the calculation of this indicator, the plotting is going to change significantly, and even though the main chart, the current chart is of hourly candle period, we will have this plotting of the indicator being done with the help of each candle period defined at 10 minutes, and it is taking substantial more time because the calculation becomes much more complex on those lower scale of the candle period. So we are almost done, and here as you can notice there is this substantial difference between the earlier plotting and this current plotting. Now I am going to revert back to use from the chart. Spread side, we can go for ask and width from these two options provided. You can have this indicator provided on all the candle periods, or you can specify on which particular candle period you want it, and only on that candle period it will be added to the chart, and on other time frames it won't be available for you to see. So you can have different indicators on those time frame and use multiple data points to make a informed trading choice. So that's all from my side for today's session of the JForex indicator explained, where I tried to explain to you the underlying concept, the logic, and representative examples of these rainbow oscillator. So to try it out, observe the charts over a long period of time and see how you can take advantage of this indicator to figure out the higher probability, profitability, trading opportunities. And if you do that, I will consider my job well done. Thank you all for joining in. Have a fabulous time ahead, a profitable day ahead. See you next time around with a new, equally interesting indicator to work with. Thank you all. Goodbye.